Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services, a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 22nd of August. The first important news, that is concern about drilling in the Northern Sea. We'll see the decision that was taken by the Britain government. Second, that is Supreme Court to constitute new bench for Kaveri water issue. This is a tussle, a decade-old tussle has still continued without a proper resolution. Third, that is ICSSR to develop Indianized research methodology tool. Second last, that is Supreme Court to lay guideline on summoning the part of officials. And the last is an editorial, how to govern the data. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin the session, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is concern about drilling in the Northern Sea. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries. So recently, the UK Prime Minister has backed a plan where they called for a new fossil fuel drilling off the Britain coast. Now, what is this all about? I'll make you understand about the history as well. But before that, just to look into the background, according to the official statement, which was released in July, it says that the move will help Britain to become more energy dependent. But there's some concern that is coming out of this decision. The environmental expert or the expert in the field has said that the world continues to stride away with the irreversible climate change. Now, this action will have a repercussion in the sustainability of the mining and even for the marine ecosystem. Now, the North Sea Transition Authority, better known as NTSA, this is responsible for regulating oil, gases and carbon storage industries, and it expects that first of the new license to be awarded in autumn, and with around expected to be like around 100 license in total. That is something which is aligned, or something that is over the 100 license has been given. Now, if you look at the part with the Northern Sea, the map become important here. So this is the part of the Northern Sea. It has an adjacent countries as well. I mean, the region include United Kingdom, Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, and even France, right? This is English channel, which is between UK and France. So map work for UPSC prelims examination, something which is directly in the news or in the limelight, becomes significant for you. So आप इससे related जितने भी map work है उसे जरूर देखिए. Now, history of drilling the Northern Sea. This is not for the first time that the part of drilling exercise is being done. इससे पहले 1958 में जेनेवा कन्वेंशन है, उसमें कॉन्टिनेंटल शेल्फ के बारे में बात की गई थी. द फर्स्ट इंटरनेशनल लेजिस्लेशंस टू एस्टैब्लिश the right of the countries over the continental shelf adjacent to their coastline paved the way for exploration in the Northern Sea. Right now, the treaty came in 1964, shortly after the UK Parliament passed the Continental Shelf Act in April on the same year. That is, in 1964 itself, the government has come up with the legislation. Right? उसके बाद, this provide for the explorations and the exploration of continental shelf based on the part in 1958 convention, which was there, the Geneva Convention, right? So Geneva Convention is again something very important. If you're writing in mains, make sure जहाँ भी अब इस तरह के self या general studies paper 3 के बाद topics के बारे में बात हो, वहाँ पे आप जरूर highlight करें. It delineate the part of jurisdiction with the UK and has over oil and gas resources seabed near the shore. First license की अगर बात करें UK Northern Sea की, that was awarded to Britain Petroleum in September 1964, और 2022 में latest की अगर बात करें, the total production has declined to 38,037 tons according to the official figure. There are a lot of other history that is there. I have simply jumped from this timeline to 2022 because there are the details that would be not relevant for the examination. Now problem with the offshore drilling because the environmentalists are concerned on that part. तो अगर बात करें कुछ important चीजों की, according to the UK based advocacy group, the Natural Resources Defense Council (NDRC), they have said that offshore drilling puts worker, water, and wildlife at risk, right? And drilling in the sea and the ocean for the fossil fuel not only aggregate the part of climate threat or the climate change, but also warm ocean, and this will ultimately lead to the rise in sea level. So these are some of the negative consequences of the offshore drilling. Now, offshore drilling is associated with the direct risk to marine biodiversity as well as with the indirect risk to coral reef, shellfish, or marine ecosystem from the acidic water because of the carbon pollution setting into the oceans. Now, climate commitments की अगर बात करें, in March 2023, progress report with the UK Parliament, the Climate Change Committee, which advised the UK and the developed government on the climate emissions, said that the UK has not adequately prepared for the climate change under the second National Adaptation Program. Now, in the part UK National Adaptation Program की बात करें, these are the statutory program that govern most follow to help the part of country for any climate change and requirement under the Climate Change Act. Now, the second National Adaptation Program that was covered from the period 2018 to 2023, that was also helpful. So for a country which is actually coming with the part of exploration and drilling, they have to also look for an alternative way where the compensation part is adequately addressed. Now moving ahead, that is SC2 constitute a new bench for the Kaveri water dispute. This dispute has continued for a longer period, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is structure, organization and functions of executive and judiciary, and also important for General Studies paper 2, where structure, federal structure of the country are mentioned in the syllabus. Supreme Court ने कहा है that it will constitute a bench which will hear decade-old dispute between the Tamil Nadu and Karnataka government over the Kaveri river water issue. Now this has continued for a longer period of time. Now the Supreme Court intervention will definitely call for some conclusive action in this regard. Now the matter was mentioned by the council which representing the Tamil Nadu government, और urgent listing की बात की गई थी to the court number 1, that is the Chief Justice of India. This is headed by 2 other judges. Now senior advocate appearing for the part of Tamil Nadu has said that the applications has been filed for the state seeking the release of water in the month of August, which has been ordered by the Kaveri Water Management Authority. तो जो Kaveri Water Management Authority होती है उनकी award binding होती है states पे, both the state, whether it is Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, right? But they are not adhering to the part, specifically Karnataka is not adhering. Now, if something is not coming out feasibly, the only option left is to reach out to the Supreme Court, right? Now, if you look at the map work, I think I have made a discussion to this as well. This is the KRS dam in Tamil Nadu. This is Bilikondulu in the part of Tamil Nadu there. This is Karnataka. And this is Mettur dam, right? Where the part of the reserve will be kept as a reserve. Now, there's a dire necessity. This is what the Tamil Nadu government has said in its petitions to the Honorable Supreme Court. उन्होंने कहा है कि वाटर की ज़रूरत काफ़ी ज़्यादा है because the pressing demand is coming for the part of the standing crops. Tamil Nadu has urged the court to direct the Karnataka government to issue the stipulated release of water September के लिए 37.76 cubic metric feet के आसपास बात की गई है, and the Kaveri Water Tribunal has actually modified by the Supreme Court in 2008. Now the state has said that the Karnataka should make the shortfall of 28.48 of the water current irrigations for the year that is period between 1st of July and July 31st. तो जो भी shortfall है वो advances को भी वापस करने की बात कही गई है. Now SC as a last resort, as I've told you, if the award by the Kaveri Water Tribunal is not taken into consideration, Supreme Court ही last resort बचती है. Tamil Nadu government ने approach किया है Supreme Court को, and it has contended that the charge of Karnataka was prepared to release only the reduced quantity of 8,000 cubic foot per second, right? And referring to the deliberations, the Kaveri Water Management Authority has said that the Tamil Nadu was a resource mineral and said that the requirement for the Kaveri water was sympathetically put by the state officials during the discussions. Now the minister said that it was unanimously decided, उन्होंने unanimously decide किया था कि एक unanimous decision हो, और ये सारे मिनिस्टर्स ने इसी यूनानिमस डिसीजन को बढ़ाते हुए कहा था दैट द कावेरी वाटर रेगुलेटरी कमिटी एज पर एज द रूल्स विल रिलीज बाय द जो जितनी की गई है 15,000 CUSC दैट इज क्यूबिक फुट पर सेकेंड विल बी रिलीज फ्रॉम कर्नाटका टू तमिलनाडु फॉर 15 days. But again the things was not put in place. So the reason being Tamil Nadu government has reached out to the Supreme Court appealing for its rights. Now the other news, that is ICSR to develop Indianized research methodology tool, something important for general studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. The Indian Council for Social Research will soon announce the result of the research award, that is proposal it has invited to study the impact of various schemes and public policy initiatives of the union government. Now about 500 research will get funding from the study based on the fieldwork focus on specific geographical locations or the region. ICSR की बात करें, that is Indian Council for Social Research, have also planned Indianized research methodology जो कि help करेगी country में social और economic changes को study करने में. This specific study outcome has recommended government to come up with the directions where these schemes are moving in the uniform directions, or inform करेंगी that about the policies that how this need to be devised out studies के लिए या फिर और किसी executions even for the part of analysis. Now policies that will be actually studied, this they have been highlighted. Some schemes that will be into for the empirical research include PM Ujjwala Yojana, PM Awas Yojana, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, PM Fashal Yojana, PM किसान सम्मान निधि, ईयर ऑफ मिलेट्स, आयुष्मान भारत, जन औषधि योजना, स्वच्छ भारत अभियान, मेक इन इंडिया, PM गति शक्ति, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, ब्लैक मनी जो कि अनडिस्क्लोज्ड और एसेट्स में इनकम टैक्स एक्ट पार्ट 15 बेमानी जो ट्रांजिशंस हैं उनके भी लिए गई हैं, और द लास्ट इज द बेनामी ट्रांजिशन प्रोहिबिशन एक्ट ऑफ 2016. Now the new mandate that has come up by the ICSSR that has mandated to carry out primary data-driven empirical research for the social and economic impact of the policies. And under the scheme, there will be two types of studies, right? Collaborative studies की जाएंगी पहली, where 30 lakh for 6 months will be provided, and individual study for 6 lakh for 6 months will be provided by encouraging research for periphery area under the underprivileged institutions, right? And about 500 proposals will be selected by an expert committee. Now moving ahead, Supreme Court to lay down the guideline on summoning the part for the official, something important for general studies paper 2, that is the structure and organization, the functions of executive and judiciary. This has been a regular exercise between the judiciary and the state that official used to represent them. I mean state representation होती है official की तरफ से honorable courts में, whether it is High Court or the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court has said that it will lay down the guideline regarding the adherence to the summoning of the officials when it comes to the part of involving the government. कई ऐसे cases होते हैं जहाँ पे official को report करना होता है. This official is reported on behalf of the state to the court, right? Whether it is Supreme Court or whether it is High Court. So ahead of the basically जो ये बात की गई है, that was given by the Chief Justice of India और भी 2 judges थे. They have noted that there must be a different set of standard, और SOP की भी बात की गई. I'll tell you what are the SOPs when seeking the personal appearance of an official pending before the cases, या फिर कोई ऐसी केस जिसमें adjudication हो गई है बट फिर भी कोई conflict रहती है, उस केस में भी एक different procedures follow की जाएगी. The court was hearing related to the issues of the 2 government officials by the Allahabad High Court for the contempt of court. Now draft SOPs की अगर बात करें, the central government has submitted a draft standard SOPs, suggestions related that will be followed by the summoning officials. The SOP suggested that the personal appearance of the public officials in the court proceeding should call for only the part of exceptional cases and not for the matter of routine. तो एक्सेप्शनल केसेस के लिए स्पेसिफिक SOPs होंगी and not for the regular cases, right? As per the draft SOPs, the court should practice retrain from the part of restraining while summoning the other officials, including the writ proceedings, PIL public interest litigations and contempt cases में. SOPs has also suggested that the contempt of the court proceedings against the officials can only lie with respect to enforceable orders, no matter what lying in the executive domain, merely to ensure that the particular outcomes are there. Now moving ahead with the editorial of the day, how to govern data, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from it, design and implementations. So in this article or editorial, the prime focus on the theme is about the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. We will look into the issues of empowering the Center, Data Protection Board and the conclusion part, right? Now, recently Rajya Sabha has unanimously passed the Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2023 और बहुत सारी concern raise की गई है. I have already made a discussion prior to that as well, but some other issues need to be highlighted. इस वजह से मैंने इस article को shortlist किया for a discussion part. Now, in this process, it has been predictable provoked the mixed reaction. I mean, इस बिल के पास होने के बाद mixed reactions आई हैं because बहुत सारी चीज़ों की compromise भी की गई है और बहुत सारी चीज़ों को empowerment भी किया गया. The bill will apply for the processing of the digital personal data within India where such data on the collected online or collected offline is digitalized. This will also apply to such proceeding outside India for the offering goods or services in India. अब बात करें अगर इस बिल में सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्रूशियल पार्ट की है जिसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को काफ़ी ज़्यादा एम्पावर किया गया. द बिल ग्रांट certain right to individual including the right to obtain information, seeks corrections, erasers and grievance redressal. Central government may exempt government agencies from applications and the provision of the bill in interest of the ground such as security of the state, public order or prevention. So this is something with regards to the RTI. जिस एजेंसीज को गवर्नमेंट चाहे उसके एग्जेम्पशंस में आरटीआई से उसे एग्जेम्प्ट भी कर सकती है, विच इज समथिंग अ डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन इज दैट इज आरटीआई के जो टूल है उसको एक तरह से पूरी तरह से डिसमेंटल करने की बात हो रही है. इट ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड दैट द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट नोटिफाई द सिग्निफिकेंट डेटा फ्यूडिशरी जिसे SDF भी कहते हैं दैट इम्पोज द ऑब्लिगेशंस ऑन इंक्लूडिंग द पीरियोडिक ऑडिट्स एंड डेटा प्रोटेक्शन इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट अमंग द अदर थिंग्स. Now, if you look at the part, there is a data protection board that will also come up under the provision. Central government ने data protection board establishment करने की बात की गई है for the adjudications and non-compliances of the provisions under the bill. And this DPB will enjoy the quasi-judicial power and will be wholly appointed by the central government. The letter in the law is unambiguous and there's a legislation that governs and signals that it intends to have an ex-ante rule. I'll tell you what is ex-ante rule. And to check the power which is enjoyed with a certain platform that exercise the immense influence. Now, if you look at the part, I'll tell you what the ex ante mean. इसका मतलब होता है that something which is laid down as a part of prevention. अगर जो घटना नहीं हुई है उसके preventive में preventive actions के तौर पे ex ante rules लाए जाते हैं. Now, to conclude the part, the Digital Personal Protection Bill extend to substantial right to the individual with a better visibility, awareness, and the part of decisional autonomy and control over the original data. So this was the main aim and the rationale. The act empower the government to exempt any private entities or the additional obligations to the significant data fiduciary from the part of the rules, obligations and RTA. This leave rooms for an open arbitrariness for the regulatory asymmetry. And data is vastly more than just telecoms and arguable more complex. Because the right to privacy, KS Puttaswamy की जो judgment है वहाँ पे भी ये बात की गई है. The data governance is serious business. With there, if government is serious about that, then needs to designate with letter and spirit. तो इसको letter and spirit implement करने की जरूरत है. जो exemptions बहुत सारे department को दी गई है, even for the particular sections of the government has been given with the exemption, will definitely undermine the part of the individual right and the right which is envisaged under the fundamental right of the Indian Constitution. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice, that is about the central bank digital currency. It can be defined as a legal tender issued by the Reserve Bank of India. The wholesale digital currency is designed to rest the part of access to the financial institution. Do check out for the correct option. The second question of the day is about the International Conference on Election of the Management Bodies. It was hosted by the Ministry of Statistical and Program Implementation. It was under the aegis of United Nations Summit for Democracy platform. So check out the correct options. We have other platforms where you can have daily questions practice that will gauge you with extra knowledge and give the clarity for a given topic. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, queries about admissions, test series and programs, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.